So in this video tutorial, we're going to be solving a system of equations by graphing. We have these two equations that we're going to graph, and where they intersect is going to be the solution. Now, I'm going to rewrite the equations. Actually, I'm gonna zoom in first. I want to be able to really be able to see these equations. So let's just do this. So here we go. We have the first equation says y equals x minus 5. So this equation is in slope-intercept form, where we have our slope and we have our y-intercept. The fact that we have a y-intercept means we know where we have a point on the graph, and that point is at -5. So at -5, that means when x is 0, y is -5. We call that the y-intercept. If I were to write that down right here, that's when x is 0, the y is -5. We call that the y-intercept, and it's always this number right here when the equation is solved for y, when it says y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to start by putting that point right there at -5, okay? Now, the slope is the number in front of x. Now, this says y equals 1x minus 5. So the slope, or the m, we call it, m is equal to 1, and we make it a fraction. Anytime we just have a whole number, we put it over 1. This tells us the rise and run. Now, I know you're used to going over and up or over and down, but this is rise over run. So the top number tells us how far to go up. It's +1, so we go up 1. The bottom number 1 means we go to the right 1. So we're going to go up 1, over 1, and put the next point right there. And we could keep going that way. Or we may realize it's actually down 1 to the left 1. That's if they were both negative, because a negative over a negative is actually a positive, but we would end up with a point there, okay? So you can see all these dots make that graph, okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and graph that line as best I can, and it would look something like that. It would actually continue going in both directions, okay? Something like that. All right, now, the next one is also in slope-intercept form. This one, though, has a different y-intercept. Let's see. When x is 0, the y is -2. It's simply this number right here. So I'm going to put a point at -2, which is right here. And this one has a slope of -2. Well, a slope of -2 means we have a -2. We can put that over 1. So again, we have a rise over run, but notice it's a negative. That means from this point, we're going to go down 2 and over 1 and put our next point. So down 2 over 1 puts our point right there. We could keep doing it again, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, or vice versa. If we call the 2 the positive, then let me just write this down. We could also say the slope is 2 over -1. That's also a negative slope. One of them is positive, one of them negative. That means we would go +2 and to the left 1, and I could put a point right there, and you can see it's still in the same line. So now I'm going to go ahead and graph that one, and it would look something like that. Well, you can see the point where it intersects is here. All right, and that is going to be our solution. So the solution to this one is the x and y ordered pair, and the x value of this point is +1, and the y value of this point is -4. So 1, -4 would be the solution.